a Christian after all. A good gentleman whose name was William Ladd was at one time the president of the American Peace Society. He believed that kindness carried out would keep peace between neighbors as well as between nations. But there had been a time when he gave little thought to this matter and did not understand it. Then, if a man struck him a blow, he believed it was right to strike him back, without pausing to think if there were not a better way of returning the blow. And if one did give him an injury, he would give him as good as he gave, or, as children say, he would give him tit for tat. But now he had learned better, and this story shows how he learned to be a peacemaker and the good that came from it. At this time he lived on a farm, and a poor man who was his neighbor neglected to keep up his fence, as he should have done. The consequence was that this man's sheep got into Mr. Ladd's wheat field and did a great deal of damage. Mr. Ladd told Sam, his hired man, to go to this neighbor and tell him he must mend his fences and keep the sheep at home. But the fences were not mended, and the sheep got into Mr. Ladd's field again, and this time made him angry. "Sam," said he, "go to that fellow and tell him if he doesn't keep his feet." "Sam," he said, "go to that fellow and tell him if he doesn't keep his sheep out of my field, I'll have them shot." But even this did not do, for the next day the sheep were in again. "Sam," said Mr. Ladd, "take my gun and shoot those sheep." "I'd rather not, sir," said Sam. "Rather not, Sam? Why, there are but 3 of them. It's no great job." "No, sir, but they are all the man has in the world, and I don't feel as if I would like to shoot a poor man's sheep." "Then the poor man ought to take better care of them. I gave him a warning." "Why didn't he mend his fence?" "Well, sir, I guess it was because you sent him a rough sort of message. It made him mad, and so he wouldn't do it." "I considered a few minutes," said Mr. Ladd, "and then I told Sam to put the horse in the buggy. Shall I put the gun in too?" "No," I answered, but I saw a quiet smile on Sam's face. But I said nothing. I got into the buggy and drove off to my neighbor's. He lived a mile away, and I had time to think it all over. I drove up to the house. The man was chopping wood. The wood pile was very low. The house looked desolate and forlorn, and my heart was softened. "Neighbor," I called out. The man looked sulky and did not raise his head. Come, my neighbor, I have come with friendly feeling to you, and you must meet me halfway." He saw that I was in earnest, laid down his axe, and came to the wagon. "Now, neighbor," said I, "we have both been wrong. You neglected your fence, and I got angry and sent you a provoking message. Now let us face about and do right. I'll forgive you, you forgive me, and let's shake hands over it." He did not feel quite like giving me his hand, but he let me take it. "Now, neighbor," I said, "drive your sheep down to my pasture. They shall share with my sheep until next spring, and you shall have all they yield. and next summer we shall start fair." His hand no longer lay cold and motionless in mine. He gave me a warm, friendly grasp, and his eyes filled with tears as he said, "I guess you are a Christian, William Ladd, after all." And so Mr. Ladd went home, feeling cheerful that he had received the blessing promised to the peacemakers.